wants to know, would Christian not have kept a trophy of some sort relating to Maddie? Did you get the question, Chris?
A trophy in the beginning and then got rid of that trophy. We don't know that he kept something from her all these years. And look, if the Germans are saying they might have something, maybe they do, and they don't want to tell us. So it's possible that he does have something from her.
I think he likes to play cat and mouse because he put those memory sticks under his dead dog, which he knew a cadaver dog would hit on. Instead of just burning them or completely destroying them, he's kind of like teasing the police.
I think this guy has been getting, I mean, he's gone to jail a couple times, but they're small, like 2 years, 6 months. This is his longest one, I think, of 7 years. So these people, they're not like you and me. Okay. They have no remorse. I'm not going to say the weird things they do because, we're protecting your channel and for people's safety too and mental state. These people are not like us. Okay. They think in a very different way than we do. And for this guy, you used a good word, cat and mouse. He may be playing a game because he doesn't care. He doesn't care. You haven't got him on Maddie McCann yet at all, right? And if he did destroy most of her stuff, maybe there isn't stuff. You got to think in all the scenarios and possibilities. There might not be any hard evidence against him for Maddie, okay? Because remember, even with Renee Hasse and Inga and Maddie, we've never found them. There are no bodies. And in America, we do take people far, but I'm doing a case right now. They can't find this one gentleman's body. There's no charges against the ex-wife. Okay. And they know that she's probably involved, but because he's still missing, that's just in America, we have to have usually 90%. There has to be a body, a victim. We have to find proof that someone was unalived. So my thing is, this guy is such a bad person in general. I would say, and I've seen this on other lawsuits, I don't care what you have to do. You find the law that he is violating, and you find as much evidence as you can, and I would try him. I would arrest him and try him. They have immunity. He can't sue the prosecutor later on. It's impossible. I would take him to trial, tell the story, and do it for Maddie. I mean, what are we going to do for Maddie? We're just going to let it keep going forever. It's very similar on John Bonet. Do something. Stand for something. Okay? So I think other stuff will come out too, but this guy's prime suspect number one, period. End of story. Helga Bushing, look up Helga Bushing. He had tipped off. He knew Brueckner. He had tipped them off years ago. Okay? And it's sad because if they figured out who he was, Maddie would still be with us today. If they followed up on the charges in 04 and 05, those years, Maddie would probably still be here with us today.
I'll take this next question because a few people have asked me, how do I know a cadaver dog would hit on the corpse of a canine? I know this because I served time with a guy called Two Tonys. He was a mafia hitman, and I actually wrote a book about him called The Mafia Philosopher, Two Tonys. It's on Amazon. And we did a whole chapter on how he disposed of bodies. And he'd left bodies from Arizona to Alaska, rival gangsters. He was doing 144 years. And he said one of the tricks was they would bury a body deep, and then a few feet above it, they'd bury a dead dog, and then the cadaver dog would come out. It hit on that spot, and when they found the dead dog, they wouldn't dig any deeper to find the human corpse. But he said his boss in the Bonanno crime family, they just invested in funeral home, crematoriums, and they'd have like double-decker coffins. So they'd have a corpse would be on the top that was supposed to be buried, and then one of the guys they'd whacked would be going in on the
Oh
bottom
my
of the coffin.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah. So that's a good tip. That's this is not a how-to, folks. I'm
Right.
just this is I got to put a disclaimer. This is an educational. This is an educational video.
Right. That Shaun learned, yeah, that you learned in the pen, pretty much that, you know.
So Chris, you know, it's like this guy didn't discriminate on the age of his victims. You know, a granny could wake up in the middle of the night and he'd be in the corner of the room with a gimp mask on, or he could be snatching a little girl from a playground. Have you come across somebody who had such a range of victims like that?
Not really. I mean, you know, a lot of my cases that I've done, a lot of them are family members, friends, some of the mob guys, they're associates. That's part of their job, right? They're not, I deal with many serial unalivers. I really don't. I only worked, I think, one case that was like that. And those are really hard to deal with. It's easier to deal with the direct family members of the victim because they want answers. And usually, you know, this is a unique situation. And that's why I wrote up this thing. Also, I have a good friend of mine's a big producer in Hollywood. And he contacts me once in a while, like, hey, let's get you back on TV. Let's get you, you know, get back in the business. I'm not really in the business anymore. And he's like, you know, why don't you draft a one sheet for Maddie? And I go, okay, I will. And as I was drafting this one sheet, I realized I kept saying Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs. This is a once in a lifetime situation. This guy has skirted the law for decades. Decades. He's been stealing, committing burglaries, robberies. The one of the women that accused him was in the same area Maddie was taken from, literally the exact same area in Portugal, in Praia da Luz. So he's in the vicinity, right? I mean, I don't want to go into the evidence this second. Let's just stick with what you're saying. This guy, I would almost equate him to the Green River Killer out here in America, one of the highest body counts ever. He beat Bundy, he beat Gacy, and that's the Green River Killer. You can look him up. This almost reminds me a little bit of him. This is a purebred serial unaliver, and this guy is focused on children. And I hope they do the right thing, man. This is a very important story we're telling today.
Yeah, when I read John Clark's book about Christian, I just felt sick. I was horrified. I would never take a child on holiday to that part of Portugal because of his connections with the rings and the New Age traveler community and people who were like on the run from other countries. So apparently he was at a musical festival and he confided to a participant that Maddie had not screamed, and this person came forward as a witness. And then, of course, Christian denied ever being in that area, yet this insurance document that I put on the screen was found, whereby Christian had a vehicular collision and a claim was filed, and it did put him in at that festival in that area where he confided to the participant that Maddie hadn't screamed. Do you think that witness is telling the truth, Chris?
Well, I like the fact that you have receipts, we'll call it, right? That's great. If you have something that proves he's in the area, just like they had this with Inga. They had proof of an accident he was in the day before her disappearance, which was on May 2nd, 2015. A day off of the May 3rd anniversary date, right? So that's a little creepy too. But, and I'll say this, I've worked with a lot of accomplices and actual literal unalivers themselves. I do believe he may have said that because they like to brag. And they'll brag in a way that you don't know what they're talking about. It'll come out years later, right? So if he says, yeah, she didn't scream, and the person looks at him